looking ahead towards our own prosperity. It's important to keep focused on important life goals. And I'm not just talking about money or wealth, but also having a thriving and positive state of mind. Hi there, I'm Tamara McHale. Welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine.
A healthy and educated people living in a clean, natural environment, reducing crime, improving the justice system and governance, building a prosperous economy. It's not just a vision, it's reality. Learn about the plan. Join the vision.
My country, Jamaica, has a rich heritage and is very unique. If we all pull together, we can make it the place of choice to live, work, raise family, and to do business.
For more information on Vision 2030, call the Planning Institute of Jamaica or visit vision2030.gov.jm, your parish library, school library, or the Jamaica Information Service.
Mosquitoes are undoubtedly annoying, with their irritating sound and stinging bites. But there are more compelling reasons we'd rather not have them around. Several species are carriers of diseases and a threat to human health. Of most significance to Jamaica is the Aedes aegypti mosquito, known to transmit dengue fever, chikungunya, yellow fever, and the Zika virus. Only female mosquitoes bite, doing so to get the blood they need for egg production. And therefore, only female mosquitoes transmit these viruses.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is what we call a timid feeder. So she's easily disturbed when feeding. It means that in one night, she may feed on several persons before she takes her complete blood meal. Each time she feeds, she secretes that substance. And in the secretion of the substance, the pathogen is passed on. So in one night, one female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to infect more than one person.
The female Aedes aegypti mosquito is a prolific breeder.
One female Aedes aegypti mosquito is able to lay up to 200 eggs each time she lays her eggs. So one mosquito can populate an entire area.
The lifespan of the mosquito is around 3 weeks, and the entire cycle from egg to adult can occur in as little as 7 to 8 days. Female mosquitoes are ready to mate within a few hours after reaching their adult stage, and males are usually ready within 24 hours.
This mosquito prefers cleaner waters. For the female mosquitoes, she will lay her eggs in water, and for the Aedes, it will be water which is in and around the household.
So while there are a number of things we can and should do to prevent being bitten, the most effective way to prevent the spread of diseases by these mosquitoes is to prevent their breeding.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito is a mosquito that breeds in a containerized environment. They do not breed in rivers and drains, but they breed in containers that can be found in and around where persons dwell. So come with us and let us show you some of those breeding sites. This is a typical dish drainer that we find in most homes. And under most dish drainer is a tray that collects the water that comes off the dishes. And believe it or not, we have found breeding in several homes in these dish drainers. Yes. You can see that we have water that has settled. If this water does not evaporate quickly, it can lend itself to the breeding of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. So you not only have to empty the dish drainer, but you have to scrub to remove those eggs. This is the typical saucer that we will find under a plant. The rain has reached into fallen, it has collected water, and right now it is steaming with the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Do you have some of these in your home? Aedes aegypti prefers water that is a little bit on the cleaner side, and it's found in a shaded environment. So what should we do with something like this? It's quite simple. You need to throw away the water. And if these containers are not being used, you have to keep them turned down so they're not able to collect water. If you have them under your plants, we ask that you bore holes in them so that it will not collect water. Do you have these in your homes? We find these in a lot of hotels and business places. And we ask those persons, check these bird baths or any ornamental things like these you have in your garden to ensure that they're not breeding the Aedes aegypti mosquito. There are things like this thrown down in person's backyard. Old equipment, old furniture, old fixtures that are taken from homes, especially during construction. These are also able to hold water. And if they're holding water and sit for a while in the environment, they will also breed mosquitoes. And so we have found breeding in wheelbarrows, in old refrigerator, in old sinks such as this one. And we ask persons, if you're throwing out these, please ensure that they are positioned in such a way that they will not collect water.
Many persons, when they do have their drums, most times drums do not have any covers. So there is a mesh cover which is so designed to replace the missing covers. It is lightweight, and what we do is just simply slip it over, and the mesh is so designed mosquitoes will not be able to go through this mesh to get to the water. So this is the ideal way. One of the benefits also of this mesh is that even when rain does fall, water will go right through it. This is a typical example where this we have is a plastic drum and we have a metal cover here which is not designed for this. Whilst in some practice the intent is good, there may be occasions in which it does not fit or sit properly, and as a result you still have openings where mosquitoes can go right through and breed.
The mosquito is breeding right there in some very small places right around where you live. What is the habit we want you to develop? Once every week, search for and destroy the breeding sites of the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Yo, we don't want to lose you. That's why we're counting on you to stay safe on the road.
Drinking and driving and speeding are a recipe for death and disaster. As to using your cell phone while driving, a mad thing that.
Yeah man, either thing to call, surf the net, text or visit the Facebook page while driving.
Do not use your cell phone while driving. If it is really urgent that you use your cell phone, pull over at a safe location on the road.
Arrive alive. Don't use your cell while you drive.
Let us score for road safety. All the time, every time.
A message from the NRSC and NHF.
We now take a look at the work of first responders in cases of medical trauma as we mark Emergency Cardiac Care Week and CPR Week.
I can remember we got an emergency call to Little London. Information received from our dispatch center is that a gentleman has slashed his own throat. Responding to that call, there were all sorts of expectations going through our minds, you understand, because we didn't know what to expect. But I don't have it that when we reached there, we saw him there on the bed with his throat slashed, Wasn't a pretty sight, but knowing it's our job, we have to advance to the situation, and life depends on what we do at the present moment. We step forward and we realized that he was still breathing, so there was this ray of hope. We realized then, and moving the things around the surrounding to get to have proper control over the situation. We realized that the machete that he used was still there on the bed. During the process we were still thinking, wondering if he's gonna make it or not. But we continued to stabilize, packaging him in the ambulance, continued on our way now to the hospital monitoring him as we went along and handed him over to the local hospital. And based on my knowledge, I get to understand that he was safe.
The most important part of my job is that to know that I can help someone, and at the same time persons look up to me because of what I do.
Most important part of my job is when sometimes you're trying to do your best and you can't do anymore to save that patient.
On the go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the work of an emergency medical technician, EMT, is never done. When summoned, the goal of the EMT is to provide emergency medical services, EMS. That is, retrieve, care for, and deliver victims to an appropriate medical facility in the shortest possible time and under the best possible conditions. Emergency Medical Services is a functional arm of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, which began operation in 1996.
We started with 3 stations, Savlamar, Negril and Ironshore. In August of the same year, Lucy came on board, so we had 4 stations in operation. Further on, in 2005, you had Linstead opening. Linstead is in St. Catherine. And then in 2008, you had Falmouth. So presently we have 6 operational sites.
EMS is staffed by emergency medical technicians who respond to a number of trauma and medical related incidents, including road traffic accidents, cardiovascular emergencies, acute respiratory diseases, life-threatening trauma, severe bleeding, and obstetric emergency.
On a good day, we normally get up to 9 calls. Sometimes we do not get much calls, but what we do have is a lot of persons coming to the station requesting help. So for instance, if the unit is out, then they still come here, and if we don't have a unit present, if for some reason the unit is down, they still do come here, and although the health center is nearby, they use this facility as a first resort.
Let's say there's an emergency. The call comes in to the central post at the watchroom, and the firefighter in charge takes the information and alerts his colleagues at the station if it is that the team is in-house with the emergency bell. When that bell is rung, EMTs have to respond within a minute of the call. EMTs are firefighters who have indicated a need for EMS training. They are trained at 3 different levels: basic, intermediary, and advanced. At the basic level, training is 320 hours inclusive of 3 weeks in the hospital.
When you finish that and you start working, then you can always move up to the next level, which is intermediate. Now, intermediate is 480 hours of training, and you have to do a month in the hospital. If you want to do additional training to the paramedic level, then you have to go overseas, and that is over 1,000 hours of training.
EMTs are brave men and women who are dedicated and equipped to providing the health care you need, oftentimes right where you are. For more information on EMS or any other specialized area in the Jamaica Fire Brigade, visit their website www.jfb.gov.jm or call 922-2523 or 922-0007.
Experiencing flu-like symptoms such as coughing, fever, or runny nose? Has it caused severe aches and pains? Is it difficult to breathe? Have you been feeling dizzy? What about diarrhea, vomiting, or dehydration? If the answer is yes, see your doctor or the nearest health center right away. These are all symptoms of the influenza A H1N1 virus. Be smart. Seek medical attention today.
Monitoring the progress of Vision 2030. Besides the developments you may see taking shape, there is a system in place to monitor and evaluate the progress of this plan and to ensure its success. We'll have more on that in this next feature.
On a map, it's but a tiny dot, but in reality, its total area of about 10,990 square kilometers surrounded by the Caribbean Sea is spectacularly stunning. This is a small feature of the island Jamaica, which boasts of many achievements at home and abroad since gaining independence in 1962. However, as a people, when we take stock of our progress, we also see a country that has not achieved its full potential. Vision 2030 Jamaica has been formulated to assist in remedying this situation. This long-term national development plan aims to put the country in a position to achieve developed country status by 2030. By the projected timeline, Jamaica will be the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. The plan is guided by 4 national goals which are interdependent. Goal 1. Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. Goal 2. The Jamaican society is secure, cohesive, and just. Goal 3. Jamaica's economy is prosperous. And Goal 4. Jamaica has a healthy natural environment. However, if the plan is to succeed, there must be a carefully developed implementation, monitoring, and evaluation framework.
Vision 2030 Jamaica is implemented through alignment with the plans and budgets of ministries, departments and agencies of government in the first place, and also through alignment with the projects, relevant projects in the private sector, civil society, and very importantly, the country programs of our international development partners are highly aligned with Vision 2030 Jamaica.
Implementation of the National Development Plan is done in a systematic way through the use of the Medium-Term Socio-Economic Policy Frameworks (MTFs). Under the MTF, critical priority areas for implementation are identified through a process of consultation with key stakeholders across the society. This is done every 3 years from 2009 to 2030. 29 sector plans which were formulated as part of Vision 2030 Jamaica for areas deemed critical for Jamaica's development also form part of the framework for implementation by influencing the priority areas for the various MTFs. A robust results-based monitoring and evaluation system is being established to ensure that the goals and outcomes of the plan are achieved. This system builds on existing national and sectoral frameworks. An important aspect of the implementation, monitoring, and evaluation structure is ensuring that an inventory of the plan is done on a yearly basis and its progress tracked using a range of performance indicators and targets, also known as the Dashboard of National Indicators.
We, in fact, maintain a comprehensive database of these indicators called the JAMSTATS database here in the PIOJ using the software provided by the United Nations. And here's where we have the time series on all of these indicators going back for many years, along with the targets. And this is where we store the data and use this to report on progress periodically.
Also, since 2009, 10 thematic working groups, TWGs, made up of representatives from the public and private sectors and the civil society, have been established to provide a forum for the discussion, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of priorities and activities of Vision 2030 Jamaica at the sectoral level.
They identify problems and try to come up with solutions to ensure that they are overcome. They may help to develop key policies, prepare reports, undertake consultations, and in general do whatever it takes to support the implementation of the plan on a timely basis.
Cabinet, however, has ultimate responsibility for the implementation and coordination of the National Development Plan, while the PIOJ acts as a technical secretariat. In this regard, the PIOJ systematically analyzes and interprets social and economic data and monitors and appraises public and private sector programs and activities based on the goals and outcomes of Vision 2030 Jamaica. The implementation of the plan does not stop with the private and public sectors. You too can help make Vision 2030 Jamaica a reality. How? By learning about the plan, then sharing and applying the information learned. By committing to being a good role model, taking care of the environment, becoming more involved in community affairs as well as the affairs of the nation, you will help advance the implementation of the plan. For more information, visit the Vision 2030 Jamaica website, vision2030.gov.jm, or call the PIOJ 935-5150 or 935-5146-9.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
This is my appeal, Jamaica, give blood for real. Give blood and give the gift of life. So safe you don't have to think twice. Do what you can for one another. Yeah, man. Be a hero, be a blood donor. Yeah, me people, watch it. Give blood. For your sister and your brother, save the life of another. You might never know. Give blood. Cause you love a life, you love many people, one blood. The Father says so. One blood. Sign up today, be a blood donor. Many people, one blood.
Up next, top stories making news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week.
We took a second look at the project, rescoped it to ensure that the benefit is maximized. At no time was there ever any consideration of putting this project on hold or depriving the people of St. Thomas and Port Antonio of this much needed investment.
That was on Thursday as the Prime Minister announced that $384 million would be spent on a revamped plan for the Southern Coastal Highway project, most of it to come from a loan from the Exim Bank of China.
We believe this is a far more cost-effective plan, as it will reduce the need for massive land acquisition.
Earlier in the week, the Prime Minister attended the launch of the Security and Ethics Conference in Kingston and pledged to take a proactive approach to dealing with crime and violence on the island.
And we will make it a priority of the government to ensure that we have the resources that can match the level of sophistication, persistence of the criminal underworld that is causing havoc in our country.
Then on Thursday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness officially opened the new Justice Complex housing the offices of the Ministry of Justice. He said the administration would be examining the structures of public buildings in the corporate area to assess whether value for money was being derived for government offices.
It is clear that the building infrastructure in Jamaica, particularly in Kingston, has reached a stage where the government has to create the atmosphere, create the regulatory environment, and give the necessary support for reinvestment in those buildings.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett made his contribution to the sectoral debate this week and announced that the Tourism Product Development Company and the Security Ministry were collaborating to provide a comprehensive security program for the tourism sector.
Some 87 district constables are being trained as we speak under this new initiative. And these officers will function under a special arm of the JCF, having policing powers, and will focus specifically on boosting safety and security in our resort areas.
13 officers will be added to that pool to bring the complement of tourism district constables to 100 by year end. While making his sectoral presentation on Wednesday, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck reported a 72% reduction in the number of new ganja offences before the courts. He said this reduction was due to amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act, which made some ganja breaches non-arrestable offences. The amendments have also cleared up the criminal records of thousands.
The expungement of persons who were convicted for ganja-related offences, we have been able, and I now report that nearly 3,954 persons have had their records expunged and now have a clean police record.
The Education Ministry revealed this week that 81% of students who sat this year's Grade 6 Achievement Test, GSAT, were placed in a school of their choice. There were also improved results in 4 of the 5 subject areas, including a 1.9% increase in mathematics, which has been an area of concern over the years.
While this increase may not appear to be monumental, we recognize that this is a direct reflection of the investment that has been made in improving students' numeracy achievement at the primary level through the establishment of the National Comprehensive Numeracy Program.
Meanwhile, $1.4 billion has been disbursed to high schools as government makes good on its promise to disburse funds to high schools earlier this year so they can adequately prepare for the 2016-2017 academic year.
So all high schools will now have received their first tranche of the 4 tranches that we have committed ourselves to, amounting to $1.4 billion. They will be getting their second tranche in September, the third tranche will come in December, and the final one in April of 2017.
And finally, let's get together and feel all right is the theme for Emancipation and Independence celebrations this year.
Every community, every corner, every street, every lane, every nook and cranny, as we'll say, of the island, and of course, those in the diaspora are expected to come alive and celebrate together as proud Jamaicans.
Among the new events will be a Reggae to Rio celebration as the nation anticipates our athletes' success in the Olympics and a festival bandwagon show that will visit parishes across the island. Meanwhile, the fashion theme for this year is Wear It in Gold and Stripe It Bold. And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And this is where we take our leave on yet another informative edition of Jamaica Magazine. We value your feedback, so keep the link. Tell us what you thought of the show. Send an email to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. You can also visit our website jis.gov.jm or our social media platforms. Until next time, I'm Tamara McHale reminding you to take care of your health, eat well, exercise, get adequate rest, and make every day a productive one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.